Hello everyone from Studio 10 in Kilkenny. Coffee with Ania, another podcast, very special podcast because I want to dedicate to my friend who unfortunately passed away in last August, and I want to dedicate to everybody who decides to took his life, and that's will be really special for me and for my guest Gerry Molloy. Hello, how are you?
Right.
It's usually for me it's very easy, when I started everything is going like on with the flow, but today I will be honest, I was sitting and thinking about the questions, how we can talk about very important actually subject, depression.
Mm-hmm.
And there was coming so many different way of question to my head, and first of all I'm really happy you are here and thank you so much, because I found it like for men special. Depression is something like a stigma, like a label. You are not allowed to say loud you have a problem, you are not allowed to say you are unhappy, because the stigma is going maybe more like you are a man, you have to take care of everyone and you are not allowed to complain, you have to be strong. What you can tell me about this?
Well, it definitely is a stigma because I carried it for years. Like always being the happy person. I'm naturally a hyper person, so after a while it drains you because you want to tell somebody, you want to talk to somebody, and it eats you up inside. So when you finally, what I finally actually told people, and I said it on Facebook many years ago, and people couldn't understand. They were like, no, you couldn't be depressed. You couldn't.
It's only shock always, yeah?
Yeah, it is, because like I'm a naturally hyper person. I'm a very happy person, but inside you're actually holding so much in, and it just becomes a burden. And it's a burden that you carry, and it consumes your life. It consumes your relationships. It consumes your life with your kids, your work. You're constantly pretending that you're somebody you're not, and it's when you finally actually decide to talk about it, that's when things start to happen. But I struggled with it for many years. My mom died when I was 7. My dad raised 4 kids on his own, so I didn't grieve for a long time. So I think that's where it started for me. And then you make bad choices, like your diet, your exercise, even the people you hang out with, and that kind of drags you down as well. So it came to a head when I tried to take my own life about 7-8 years ago, and I was lucky. I got a second chance. I tried to do it again, so I got a third chance, and then I realized that there has to be something else. Taking your own life isn't the answer. And I've been in a place where you want to end your life. So it's a very dark place. But there are other options, and that's the thing that I want to talk about. And I have talked to a lot of people, and I have 2 kids.
I think so. We have to talk about this. We have to say loud, special about experience like you have.
Yeah.
Because it's so many people, they think there is no other option.
No.
There is no help, nothing around. I spoke actually with my friend, one of the members of family, and she told me like she's not sure if she's doing everything, if she really try to help. I never have experience with someone who decides for that, like taking his own life, but I say to her like, I believe you do it everything, you try probably everything. That was his decision, and
that's exactly
unfortunately sad. But like I just think, because that's my friend, that was a guy always happy. I have a huge shock when I got the message. It was for me so heartbroken, because I know him when we grow up, around something when we are like 10 years old kids, always in the same neighborhood, crazy things, first alcohol, maybe cigarettes as well. But there was always that one, which one, if you look at him, he was always happy, always smiling, always have some jokes. And then when I heard about this, I said like, why? How you can struggle in your life with your problems if you decide for something like that? If you know they will be here on that one side, they will stay the people, which one will be always missing you, and always, they stay like with something like could be the problem for them as well.
Yeah.
How to solve it with that all the situation.
Do you know one of the things about 4 years ago for me, because I spent a whole year, literally now, my marriage broke up, and I spent a year just wanting to die. Nobody would have known. Only the people closest to me would have known, and I have very few close people. So I keep my friends very, very close.
I think so. Everyone's hiding this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was
it's like a mask for every day. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm good, but I cry. At home when I'm alone.
That Thursday night, I'll never forget it. I said, this is it. I'm going to do it. But I had actually seen a video on Facebook. I was lying in bed one morning, and I only have Facebook because I was an admin for a page. And this guy called Kerwin Ray came up onto it, and he's actually just a salesperson, and he's a motivational speaker. But he actually said something. He said, if you feel pain, it will go. If you actually acknowledge that it's there.
Yes.
So for most people, I think, well, especially I can speak personally for me, when you feel pain, you don't want to deal with it. So you actually don't. It's a horrible, like if your heart is broken, or if somebody hurts you, or you break up in a relationship or whatever, you don't want to feel that pain. So most people's initial reaction is either to drink, do drugs, or kill yourself. So he actually said, feel it. So that night, I was sitting on my couch, and he said, if you have to cry, cry. If you have to scream, scream. Don't take alcohol, don't take drugs. So I sat on the couch that night, cried my eyes out, and about 10 minutes later, it actually left my body. And I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but it actually left my body. And then I learned, because I stopped taking medication 3 years ago, because I felt the medication was killing me. And I learned I still have bad days. I was diagnosed bipolar about 7-8 years ago. I still have bad days, but now I learned how to manage them. And that's the thing. It's like I've spoken to my kids, I've spoken to other people about it, that we don't want our kids to suffer, we don't want our friends to suffer, but unfortunately it's part of resilience, and you have to suffer a little bit. So medication doesn't allow you to do that, because when I was married, my wife at the time used to say to me, and she meant well, maybe your medication, they need to up your meds, because I was a little bit crazy. And I said, if somebody hurts you, or if you have a bad day, all the medication in the world is not going to, it doesn't go into your heart. It doesn't go into your heart and actually stop somebody hurting you. So I learned that medication isn't the answer. It's lifestyle, it's exercise.
Exactly. It's natural endorphin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but people, they don't talk about that. And I think that
but we need like a more education about this.
Yeah.
It's actually like from no one tell you, like we say before. If you go to the doctor, he doesn't say like, okay, you have to find some nice, classes and start doing something nice with this in the gym. No one tell you. They give you just push, like that.
Yeah.
This is your antidepressants. They will help you.
Yeah, and they tell you it's good for you.
And it's so easy to get them, actually.
Yeah. I went to a psychologist for 3 years here in Kilkenny, and I don't know if I can say his name, but if I can, I will, because he's brilliant, Kenny Heffernan. And he spent maybe 3 years keeping me alive, which is what he did. But again, he said to me, and I know this from research, is that I'd say 70% of people that are on antidepressants don't need to be on them. They just need to talk.
Exactly.
Because sometimes you just need to talk to somebody. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like
the weather doesn't help much as well.
No, it doesn't. But I mean, it's
all together, actually.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different things.
I think so. It's the problem maybe in Ireland is like we don't have enough sport.
No, and for young people.
Exactly.
We don't
and then we have a lot of, unfortunately, the depression with the kids, with the teenagers.
Social media doesn't help.
This is terrible, actually.
Yeah.
All fake, like, especially when the young girls, they are watching, like Instagram, Facebook, or anything like a social media, and they see everyone is perfect. Yeah. Everyone is super shape. It's like
exactly. Yeah, we're all happy. We're all happy online.
I will be honest. Like sometimes I look for the people on the Instagram. They say wow, and they see a live, and it's like, is this the same person?
Yeah. No, it is.
Like I hate filters, to be honest.
I never use them. I don't know how to use them. So when people say to me, "Oh, that's filtered," I'm like, I don't know how to use them. But when you say about young people, I personally believe that people shouldn't be allowed on. Kids shouldn't be allowed on social media until they're at least 16.
Yes,
that's a personal thing of mine, because you see so many.
But this is on the parent side, because you have to be 16 to be on the social media. But some parents, they say, okay, you can get it. You can have your face, you can have your Instagram. Then I think so that must be the control from the top.
Yeah.
festival, and also the education, like more, because it's not only to learn, you know, your language, history, or anything. I think so. The young people, they need somebody in school who can come in, they say his own story, and just chat with them. You know?
Yeah, they definitely don't talk about enough in schools. Now it is, I know my son's school,
it's
they
little bit, but
little
it's
bit.
not the proper one, you know?
Like mental health is a massive thing, and it's like, when you look at it, they have so much emphasis on education, but they have 1 hour a week where they do PE.
Yes, this is like...
Which is crazy.
It's
and
crazy.
If you were to do it like every day and talk about mental health and stuff, they don't talk about mental health. It's kind of, it's a buzzword for our governments, but it's, because somebody told me, I don't know if this is true or not, I haven't fact checked it, but I think there's an 18-month waiting list for to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist on a public system.
Could be, because sometimes if you try go to specialists, it's like you are on the waiting list for a long time.
I know personally, 18 months, if you're depressed and you're suicidal, 18 seconds, 18 minutes is a lifetime.
Yeah, it is.
So 18 months to see somebody and actually just talk to somebody. So really what your doctor will do is just give you drugs.
Yes.
And that's supposed to cure everything, you know, when it doesn't. And sometimes the side effects, I think we were talking just before this, I told you one of the side effects of the drugs I was on was actually suicidal thoughts. So you're suicidal and you're depressed.
Yes, and you get something.
And then you get that actually almost makes you suicidal. So it's like it's not all about drugs.
I have my own experience actually when I, you know, like we are all people. You can listen to your body. Yeah. You know when you have a problem. Sometimes it's actually funny. If someone tries to Google. Yeah. And they're going who's ready to doctor and say what has happened with me. Just give me this one. But I have that situation when I was really feeling it's something wrong with me, and I'm the woman. I have kids, and I remember how I was feeling during a pregnancy, like after pregnancy, and I say I have some problem with hormones, definitely. But when I try get the blood tests and checking my hormones, the doctor say I don't need them. Yeah. And he say like, even like if you will feel like this for another 6 months, then we do it. And I was like, I just asking to take my blood and check my hormones. Yeah. End of that story, I got the prescription for antidepressants. I didn't took them. I was lucky because after I took 1 week or 2, I was in Poland, and in Poland it's little bit different system because you can go just from the street to lab and just do with your blood test, and the diagnosis was my hormones. Yeah.
But you were depressed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, there's an over reliance, I think, on medication in this country, and not enough. Like even they talk about mental health and they try and get young people to talk about it, but you don't have enough groups in school where they talk about it. Yeah. Like you're lucky you have some friends that might talk to you about it, but everybody is available, but nobody's, when I say everybody's available, people will always tell you they're there, but like everybody's busy.
But if someone listen at the moment and they think, okay, I have a problem, where I have to go?
Do you know what? It's really hard because you have to rely on people closest to you at the moment. I don't think, again, this is my personal experience, there is nobody out there. There's nobody out there that, because you have to go through the system. Yes. I was very lucky with the guy I went to, very, very lucky, because he's passionate about mental health. And if you get somebody who's passionate about mental health and actually can look you in the eye and say to you, I know what you're going through, is completely different than somebody that's reading from a book that doesn't have a passion for it. And I don't think, again, my personal experience, I don't think there's a lot of people out there that have a passion for actually helping people with mental health, because there's so many young people. I heard a story of a 9-year-old who took their own life. And when you think about a 9-year-old, they have the same issues that we have, just on a smaller scale. And there's no help for them, because you bring them to a GP. A GP then has to recommend them to a psychiatrist, psychologist, psychotherapist, whatever, or the other option is what you got. Give you a prescription, and then to start them on drugs straight away. And the drugs, I really believe, mask the problem, and they really do. And there isn't, like what you said, there isn't enough dialogue between doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, and the government. The healthcare system does not. They talk about it, but every day of the week, and probably even in the last 2 years.
It's the same like we have lockdown.
Yeah.
few years ago, and we can't go for the gym. We can't go for our classes, which one gave us like a good shot of endorphin. Yeah. But we can go to a license every day.
Yeah, it's great. Like I could not get my head around that. I ran. I trained with both my kids throughout the whole lockdown. Kept myself fit. And
I was lucky because I have a dog at home.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. Like, was it one of the radio presenters years ago? Ray Darcy said, he said, when you start to feel depressed, he said, get yourself a pair of runners.
Yeah.
Get yourself a pair of runners. And we were joking about it even a couple of weeks ago. If you went to a doctor and you felt depressed, they should give you a prescription to go to a JD Sports or Lifestyle and say,
maybe they
here's
can have
50
some
euros
deal,
off.
Here's
like they will
off a pair of runners. Prescription from the GP, and then
or
someone
a gym membership, and get people because once you, again, personally for me, once I realised that diet, sleep, and exercise, were the main things for me, and I was telling you before we came on here that I spoke to my ex-wife. And she didn't realize I was off medication. And when she was told, she actually said to me, "How are you off the medication?" I said, "I have never been actually better, because when I was on lithium, I was on olanzapine, I was on Lexapro, and 2 medications for blood pressure." Yeah, serious. Because when I said it I went to a psychiatrist in Dublin in St. Patrick's, 7-8 years ago, and she put me on lithium, which is a horrendous drug. And if you look it up, you'll see it's horrendous. And when I was getting that, I said to her, "How long will I be on this for?" And she said to me, "Gerry, most people that go on this drug don't want to come off it." And if you don't know what lithium is, if you ever watch Homeland,
yes,
the girl in Homeland, Carrie Mathis, was on lithium. That'll tell you it's a horrendous drug. So she told me that I'd be on that for the rest of my life. Now I decided one day just not to take it, and the 3 of them I just decided not to. Actually 5 of them decided not to take them, and it was hard because you crash and but you do it out of arrogance. But then when you start to look at different alternatives, and there are alternatives out there to drugs, but the main thing is actually to recognize you have a problem and have somebody in your life, or few people in your life, that actually know how to help you, and disconnect from the negative influences in your life. Alcohol, drugs. Like, I very rarely drink now. I've never taken drugs. Exercise is a big part of my life. I do yoga now. I actually teach kids yoga.
Yeah, I remember that.
So and that's one of the reasons. Like, I would never been into yoga, and I started doing yoga. And
but yoga is amazing because you learn how you breathe as well, and how control your body. It's I think so. One of those exercises which when you're really relaxing.
Yeah. And even teaching kids, because that was my goal, was actually to teach kids how to be resilient and how to actually calm themselves down. Because like when I teach kids yoga, some of the parents will be watching, and they start off with a very calming breath work, and then they go kind of crazy.
Yes.
And then at the end of it, they go back.
But that is a challenge actually. Teaching the yoga kids, because kids, they are usually very, they are so active. They are overactive.
Yeah. But you know the difference, and I'll tell you the difference in kids yoga is, because I get most parents would say to me, "I'm sorry, my kid was talking all the time." When they come to kids yoga, they don't actually come to stay quiet. They come to talk. So you actually let them talk. They will tell you stuff. So you want to learn. You want them to talk. You don't want them to say shut up.
Yes.
Like, it's not in school where sit down, don't talk. They will tell you things, and over time, hopefully, that any kid that's struggling will come out. And that's the thing about kids yoga. That's what I love about it. And I would never have thought of it's when I started kids yoga, I would never have thought of teaching kids yoga. But like, when you think about it, it's such a good thing for kids. And if you can start kids at a very early age to be resilient, to actually learn how to control their breath, their moods, it's half the battle, you know. And it's getting them at an early age. And then, but I feel at the moment it's the teens and the young people, and even up to 35 are actually really struggling, because there's so much going on in the world right now, and they just don't have the resources.
That's true. And it's something like that, like the people say, like, oh, the depression, it's always can hit somebody who is weak. But I think so for the strong people as well. And it's no difference, because I remember I had a situation in my life when everything was going on perfect, and there was a situation when something was really heartbroken, and I just realized, like, day by day, I didn't have, like, energy to stand up from my bed. I didn't want to even eat. I didn't drink. I was just so upset every single day. And I spoke with the girl, I know her only from the Facebook, because I follow her site. She's completely doing something different. But she told me one day she struggled with depression for the ages.
Yeah.
She came in from Poland to Ireland with her diagnosis, with her medicine and everything, and somebody make a mistake, gave her a different antidepressant with the higher milligrams, and then she was very bad condition. And she found it another doctor who just realized like, this is not for you, you're supposed to have something different. But I spoke with her and I say like, like I have very strong personality, and usually like I don't care. Like I always look like if someone tries to be mean to me, I'm just like, okay, enjoy. If that's make you happy, seriously, like happy birthday. But sometimes could be in your life something like, even if you are super strong, it's like a slap. And then you start to be upset, and if you are not react or you don't have a help, that could be like keep going through to depression.
Well, you look at even like famous people, Robin Williams, Heath Ledger, Chester Bennington. I would have been a big Linkin Park fan. Chester Bennington, people like that have everything, but still struggle because it doesn't.
I think so. The more strong people, they will be more hiding. They will more, show to the others. I'm happy. I have everything. I don't have a problems.
It's just you have to learn to show your vulnerability, and that's the thing, and that's a hard thing for.
It's hard because then you can meet somebody who can use that. If they work with you, or if it's not your friend. And the special men. I think so. The men supposed to more. They're supposed to be stopped with that one stigma. Everyone is allowed to say about their own problems. We are all people, and we have to actually talk. The talk is the best one. That's true. And tell me, like if someone have a problem like in Ireland, the system is going like you have to go first of all to the GP. But it's no any organization or something when you can go and try get a help.
They have some like in different towns, like Kilkenny has Chalk Tom, they have Pieta House. I have no personal experience with them, so I don't really know. They're definitely there to help people, to get you in the door. I don't know, because I was lucky that I was able to go to a private person who again was busy but took me on because he cared. But I think like Pieta House and places like that are probably your first point of call. But again, it's like it could be seconds, it could be minutes. If they're not open or if they're not there, it's really, really hard. Like my personal advice is surround yourself with people that know that you have some issues, because it could be somebody that's very sporty, that just struggles. It could be somebody that's very kind of a loner, that doesn't communicate with people very well. But if you have somebody close to you, one friend is really all you need. One good friend is all you need to say, look, I need to talk. A family member, and there are like I said, Chalk Tom here in Kilkenny or Pieta House. They're the only two I really know of, because I wouldn't have any interaction with them. I tried to do it on my own, didn't work. And then I actually, out of desperation, because I had been to hypnotherapist, psychotherapist, psychologist, psychiatrist. I was with people in Wexford, Dublin, because I didn't want to go to anybody in Kilkenny, because I didn't want somebody saying, "Oh, Gerry Molloy goes to a psychiatrist in Kilkenny," and that was just my thought process. So I used to go to Dublin, and it's only when I went to Kenny that I actually realised that it's very important to.
And it's still like the stigma, you are not going in to try get the help because you don't want someone recognize you, and this is okay. This is the Gerry, he works here and
do you know what's hard, Ania? It's hard to actually first of all if you acknowledge yourself that you have a problem, and you're not, and you don't. It's not like you don't care about it, but you actually you kind of embrace it. Because that's the only time that's when it starts. When it starts to help is when you know yourself you have a problem, and then you actually go to get help. And then it's the stigma the stigma goes. I used to worry about it for a long time, what people used to think, and even when I tried to take my own life, like people would look at me like, oh, he's a bit crazy or whatever. I'm sure we're all crazy. It's at some point in our lives. So it's when you actually decide that if I talk about it now, it could help one person. It could help 2 people. It could help 100 people. You don't know, but if it helps one person, if it keeps one person alive, then it's worth it. And that's the thing, and especially like young people. Now I know there's people my age as well who struggle too, so it's hopefully somebody listens, and if they're struggling, to get help and to talk to somebody. Just, you know, like if somebody knows me, they can contact me anytime they want. I would never turn down a phone call or a text if they needed to talk, because I would be very passionate about mental health, because I've been there. And it's, when you try and kill yourself twice, it's a dark place to be. And we spoke before we started here. Like tomorrow, 4 years ago, I lost my nephew to suicide, and 3 years before that, I lost one of my best friends to suicide. So 2 people on the same day within 7 years died. I lost a person last year during lockdown through suicide as well, because they couldn't get help.
So sorry for your loss.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
It's heartbroken,
yeah,
you know.
It is. And these are people that are lovely people, the nicest people you would ever meet. Like if you, like my nephew, who took his own life, when it was a complete and utter shock. Now I knew, because he had asked me for help, and he was getting help, and his parents knew, and they were helping him, and his family were helping him, which was a really, really good thing. But it is very, very hard to live with that, knowing that person that's close to you is gone, and you see too many people doing that.
That's hard. For
it is very hard. Yeah, it is very, very
yeah.
hard. It nearly tears a family apart, because you actually ask yourself.
But I think everybody just try to do it everything.
Yeah.
It's not like you make a mistake. You do it everything. Yeah. It's just like maybe we need more empathy from the people.
Yeah, we do. But you know, we need to back that up with actual action.
Yes.
Because everybody has empathy. I don't know how many times people have said to me, "I'm always here for you if you pick up the phone call." But I sometimes I joke saying I have 9 to 5 friends.
Yes.
You know, you don't call them. You can call them between 9 and 5. But it's not, and that's not being disrespectful.
But it's, you know what,
everybody has a life.
Yes.
Everybody
it's
has their own
also like we live in the world now when everything is about the texting to each other.
Yeah.
I love voice messages.
I do too.
I love that. You know why? Yeah. Because I can hear your voice. I can hear your tone. Yeah. I can realize about your mood at the moment. Yeah. And the people sometimes think like, you send the voice message because you are lazy. No, it's not that. It's not. And special, my very good friend, who was amazing person, amazing, like big lad, you know, always happy. Unfortunately, he passed away, and he was sick. Yeah, he was sick. That was completely something different. But he was very sick, and it was very short time when he realized he was sick. Yeah. But I didn't know that. Yeah. I just got it. That was the day when I was in work. I getting the message from our another friend, and she just texted me and she say like, unfortunately he died. I don't have a good message for you. And I say, but what's happened? And she say like, you didn't know he had cancer. I say like, how that is possible? And then she just tried to explain me like he doesn't want to tell to anybody. He was like hiding that one because he thought he will be still here. He can, you know, fight. Like he was always like a big guy and he can do it. But I remember our last one chat. He just texted me and I say like, okay, then see you in July, because we always see each other in the one place. And then he just replied to me, if God say yes. But he was messing sometimes. Something, you know, God love you. You know, when you're doing something crazy, I can see that God loves you. Always this one. But in that moment when I got the message like he passed away, I just turned back for that message and I say, oh my goodness, if I can hear his voice, of course, like I can't change anything, no I can't help, but I hope so, like he know, like we all support him, you know, like if I only know, that will be maybe better if I can call to him and I say, okay, you know, like we all love you, we all think about you, you will be okay. That's sad, actually. It is sad, but
when you say that, now, kids don't voice message.
Yes,
they don't, and that's the thing. So you don't, like, and you mentioned the thing, tone. Yeah, a tone in somebody. You can't see a tone in a text, but you can hear a tone in people's voices. So if somebody's struggling and they send a voice message, you'll actually hear it.
Then we have advice for everybody. Use your voice messages.
And we're not lazy.
Yes, and
there's a reason why we do it.
And it is not about, you know, someone can't write in English. No.
It's so true. Yeah.
But could be like this way as well. Like I always try writing, and somebody like, what you mean? I said, like, what I mean. I'm just writing what I mean. And what I'm saying is deep, and I realize it's pronouncing. It's, I was explaining to my friend, like, in the Poland, it's a beautiful country, and we have so many, I don't know if I can use that word. I would try to say like a beach, with sand. But I used the word, it was...
Oh, yeah.
He was looking at me. Say, you say so many, in Poland, that's nice. And I didn't get it, and I was saying like, like it's lovely sand and everything. He started laughing, and then he corrected me a little bit with pronouncing the words. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like 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 depression and the stigma, and it's I think so. It's much easier to see like the woman have a problem, because like the women's always showing the mood, like if they are angry or something. Of course, then you can have a woman which one is very strong and doesn't want to show her mood. But I hope so. Like, could be something change in the future, like special for men's, because maybe I don't know anybody very close, except my friend who died, who took his life. But I heard for the last few years so many situations, young people. If I could remember, I heard about a girl, 13 years old, few years ago. This is terrible, and the fact like how she actually do it. That was terrible, actually. Like some people, they say someone who doing the suicide, they are not brave, but somebody say like how you can be brave to do it, something like that.
See, I think
it's not about I think so to be or not to be brave.
No, I think, because I'd be controversial, I think it's actually one of the bravest things you can do. But it's brave in desperation, and I've often said, like, when somebody takes their own life, and then person would say, and it's grief, they'll say like, if only you knew the devastation they leave behind. And because I've been there, so I know. I said, it's not the devastation. I said, we will survive, we'll hurt and we'll survive, but a person that takes their own life, they don't get a second chance. They're gone, so they don't. And it's hard. So it's a really, really, it's a dark and sad place to be if you feel like that's what you have to do. But they don't talk enough, like I said earlier, they don't talk enough about resilience and about learning how to manage it. And if we could just do that, I think you'd save a lot more lives. Less medication. I'm not going to say, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say, but my personal experience of medication made me worse. 100%
and recommending exercise, I think so. Exercise, good diet. Maybe this way will be better. Because I heard even the opinion, like someone say, okay, someone who suicide, they are selfish. I don't think so. They are selfish. I think it's so untrue. It's, for me, it's more like they are struggling with big problems.
Well, I'll tell you what. Again, personal experience, and I know this from talking to other people that have been in the same situation as me. You actually feel like when you're that depressed, and because it affects the people around you. You feel that you're a burden on them. So you taking your own life is actually making their life better. That's because, I don't know if this is 100% true, but somebody said if when you get into a very dark place, the first thing that goes is your frontal lobe. Again, that can be fact checked. But when your frontal lobe goes, your ability to empathize is gone. You're in such a dark place that you can't even think about the people around you. So you don't think about the people that your kids or your partner or your friends that you're leaving behind, because that's gone. So you're in that dark place, and all you want to think about is ending your life. So for somebody to say it's selfish, I would have said it many, many years ago, until I actually did it myself, and I realized, because
a few weeks ago I have a conversation just came in from nowhere. There's one person, amazing person, just sit down, close to me, and just say the few words about his own life. And again, that was the situation when I just look at and I say, seriously, depression. It's like sometimes you just look and say like, it's you. But that person told me, it's like you have on one arm angel and the devil, and this is all the time some voice in your head. And then it doesn't matter what's happened around, who will be so upset if you are not here. It's still the fight in your head.
It's true. But even when I was suffering at the start, people talked to me about mindfulness, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I bought a book, read it, looked at it, and said, no, that's not for me. But what I used to do at night, I used to sit in my room in the dark, and just like no phone, no communication with anybody, and you lie there, and again you feel it, which is actually kind of a mindfulness, even though I wasn't doing all the breathing and stuff like that. Now I do a little bit of meditation, not a whole lot. I'm not great at it. Something I want to improve because I think it's really helps. And if you can learn how to regulate your moods and breathe, it's a massive thing for you. It really helps because you have to be in the moment, but you have to feel the moment. And I know that sounds a bit crazy at times, but if you
it's not. It's actually very interesting, and also I think so. It's still like, even if everybody will try, do it all the best to help. Yeah. Even if you say, it's still like the moment when someone say no, I give up. Yeah. Enough.
Yeah, but if you just feel it, like 100%. Yeah, if you feel it. Yeah. Like, and I said, I struggle every day, but my struggle is 100 times better now than it was 10 years ago. So you actually learn that, and I've said this to my kids, and I've said it to my friends, and I've said it to my kids' friends, that when you feel like taking your life is the only option, there is another option, and that's the thing, because life does get better. Whatever it is, it can be multiple problems. It could be breaking up in a relationship, or money problems, or drugs, whatever. Like, tomorrow is another day, and tomorrow is, as long as you feel it and allow your body to feel it. And if you're strong enough, and when I say strong, you don't have to be strong, you just have to actually feel it and let it go. And once you do that, and it's a constant struggle. Yes. It's not like there's no magic little button to press or pill to take.
You know, we have to talk each other.
Yeah.
I think so. The life sometimes it's very, like under pressure, and we just forget about to talk at home. If we have a kids, to say like, because like when you're a teenager and you do something stupid. Yeah. Sometimes you're not came in first to your parents to say you have a problem. Yeah. And I always say like to my son, like, if you have ever any problem, just tell me. And then he say like, oh yeah, and then there will be a drama. I say, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Will be or not. Yeah. But I can help you. Yeah. If I don't know there is a problem, then I can't help you. Yeah. And I think so, like, there is always, like, we can fix it something. Yeah. We just need the tools for that. Yeah. We have to know where is the problem, and that's it. Communication and empathy.
Says, and don't my dad used to always say that to me. He said, if you can tell me, we can sort it. There's nothing that can't be sorted, and that's the thing. And it's like, it's a really good thing to be able to communicate with people. Yeah. And
we are actually around the Christmas. I think so. This is the good time to remind everybody.
Oh God, yeah. Just it's a hard time for a lot of people.
Yes, yeah, it's very hard. Yeah, it's very hard, especially when it's not everyone behind the table. Yeah. But I hope so that's the lesson also. If something's happened, and even you heard, like, from only listening to the podcast, just sit down with your family, sit down with your friends, ask somebody, are you really okay? Yeah. How are you? That's very in Ireland.
When you say, are you okay, listen.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes, it's not like, how are you? And it's like,
Because sometimes it will just say, yeah, I'm fine. But as you say, if you listen, you'll hear the tone and you'll know, and you just say, you know what. That
was tricky in Ireland for me on the beginning. Yeah. The people say, how are you? And then I feel like a full sentence, how am I? And I was like, oh, she's weird.
Exactly, yeah.
I wish you all the best, Gerry, and thank you so much. You find the time for me, and we can talk, because it was really hard to find somebody, especially a man, who can talk, like on public about this. And if you ever think we can have another conversation, I'm really looking forward to see you here, and you are always more than welcome.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And if you ever have like a bad mood, call me. We go for a nice session in the gym.
Yes. Or nice coffee.
Yes, or coffee. I don't know if I will be good with yoga, because I talk too much. I will be one of those people when you say like, okay.
I'm the same, but you know what? I learned how to do yin yoga, where you actually learn to shut up for an hour and a half.
This is the same if you go to spa. Yeah. And if you're still talking during your treatment or your massage, that means it's not very good.
Not very good, yeah.
But if you're completely relaxing, that means that person is amazing. Yeah, I can recommend one place where you can get like amazing massage, and you really like after massage you are just like this.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, guys, that was really interesting for me. And first of all, if anybody need a help, if anybody seriously want to have a little chat, you can feel free to text me on Instagram, Coffee with Ania. Will be nice for few more followers, because it's still only like a 300. It's like not enough.
Getting there.
Yeah, we close. Don't forget to subscribe Studio 10 on YouTube, and always feel free comments. Just say what you think about the program, what you think about our subject, or maybe you have some nice story, and you can sit down just here behind the table. Thank you so much, and see you next week.